What's up, guys? Yeah, I am pumped. It's one of a kind with RVD. I'm Dominic D'Angelo, and guess who's with me? Man, it's Rob Van Dam.
You already gave it away, bro.
Did I?
Oh, no. I guess the title did. Fuck it.
Kind of
Anyway, my answer is Steve Williams.
Ooh, Dr. Death?
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
He's here. I like the facial hair, dude.
Thanks. It's for the play. I can't wait to kind of shave it. It's like the Van Dyke. I got to play a King of Bohemia. So, the final weekend, if you're in Pittsburgh, let me know.
Very bohemian of you.
Very bohemian.
You're not going to keep it? I would keep it.
I might keep it for a little bit.
Let's ask the chat room. Should it keep it?
Okay, guys.
Or should it go?
Yeah, you let me know. It all depend on you guys. If
I think it's a keeper.
You think it's a keeper? Okay.
Katie when she drops in on us too.
Okay, yeah. She'll be the ultimate decision maker for me.
Maybe D.
Now, why? So, have you ever been tempted to grow a beard, Rob? Like while you wrestled?
No, but I have for like you.
Yeah, for acting stuff.
Yeah, I had to do it for the Sniper movie, but they only gave me like maybe 2 weeks notice, so I did the best I could. But it was like, hey, by the way, you know, all the guys on the set, we all wear beards, just so you know, like don't shave, but like 2 weeks worth. That's probably the most I've gone that I can remember as an adult.
Yeah,
I mean, it itches. I mean, I'm sure you get past a certain stage, but no, I'm not. For me, no, I'm not a fan. Especially like when people that, I mean, whatever works for whoever. I don't want to start throwing shade around here, but I can't see me being one of those. I don't know. Maybe my philosopher years. I can't see me growing like a big white beard and just owning it like some people do, like Papa Smurf, where they're just like, boom, guess my age, whatever, and bam, I don't know, like that kind of goes against. But I could see where it's a pain in the ass to take care of yourself, like and keep up with shit like that. I could see where. Especially if there's no reason to give a fuck, I could just let it grow, like I did with my hair.
Yeah,
I had this conversation with Dee and Katie last night because Dee was saying it's amazing that you've had your hair for so long, always the same. And I said, yeah. What's even more amazing is that I don't even like it.
You don't?
That's what she said. She was surprised. Like, I don't give a fuck. I can't picture it looking different, but I do this, one, because it's really easy. Two, it's my character. It's my image. I am my image. It's what I make money off of, like this, in video games and in, fucking action figures, whatever. I mean, a lot of actors will get fat, get skinny, look old, look young, and go through all the looks, short hair, long hair. But I'm not a full-time actor. You know what I mean? I'm full-time RVD, and once in a while I act as a different character. But so no, when I look at another dude and he's got my hair, like for long as I'm not like, he gets it, man. We look cool together. Yeah, bro. No, I'm more like, damn, man, that's how I look. Like, well, people are used to seeing me. No, sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm like, exactly like that. Like, damn, man, is that how I look? That dude looks ridiculous with a ponytail. But I don't care, though. It's like, that's the thing about it. So, no, I would not defend my look. I would just say it is what it is, and it's something that I don't put anything into. So, Katie's the one that keeps me up with, taking care of myself and stuff. Otherwise, I could see, I only get a cut like once a year anyway, which is coming up next week. It's really? Yeah, like it's probably been a year, but it's too fucking long. It starts getting, falling apart at the end.
Your shoulder kind of thing, like.
all kinds of things. Trying to even put it in the ponytail, it's so long to run it through, you know. It'd be like trying to tie a bow with your shoelaces with a string that's way too long, and you're still trying to pull it through the hole. By the time your other fingers are already tightening the knot around it, and so I wasn't ready yet, you know. And anyway, then you got a compromised ponytail, hair is split between your bands, going every which way. So it's not something that I do because I take pride and fuck yeah, man, this is the coolest haircut. No, mine's the coolest. No, I got the coolest.
Rob,
we talk about that on here a lot. So
yeah, did film people or anytime you did acting gigs, did they ever like ask you to cut your hair, or would you if you had a big role like coming up that like required it or something like that?
I mean, it has to be to an extent. I mean, you know, I couldn't not shave it. I mean, as Ted DiBiase taught us, there's a price for everything, you know?
Yes.
So let me put it that way. But I mean, if you want to shave my head bald, let me find out how long it's going to take to grow it back, how much money I'd be sitting out on in the meantime. And then if you want to compensate me for all that, we could talk. You know, we're all whores, man.
That's it.
We all got a price. Yeah.
Everybody's got a price. Old Ted.
I remember, you know, I got asked this one time by a friend of ours. You won't believe who it was.
What? Who? I can't guess.
This is between you and me, okay? Don't tell anyone. He asked me, this was like 96. He was getting to know me my first year there. And he would ask me a lot of questions. Looking back at it now, being the wiser, having lived the much bigger picture, as I look back at it from this perspective, I can see he was testing me in a lot of ways. Once he was asking me about kickboxing, you know, because he knew that about me, and Sabu had put me over to him to hire me. And and told him I was a kickboxer, I was tough, this and that. And he was like, I have a friend who's a kickboxer, you know, like, and he was like, what if, would you like, you know, what if I had him and you get in the ring together? Is that, you know, and he was testing me, you know, would you be up for something like that? And I was like, fuck yeah, you know, book him, I'll do that. And he was like, are you serious? And he's like, he's a pro. Do you know who he is? Look him up, because I don't want to. Oh, dude, wait, you're telling me he's 135 pounds and we're going to have gloves on, right? What? Put him in the ring. Fuck yeah. And you know, I knew he was testing with that one at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was still like, fuck yeah. You know, why wouldn't I? But I wasn't worth very much money. I wasn't getting paid as much money way back then. And I remember another question he asked me around that time, which was, would I ever cut my hair in a match? It's a stipulation. And I was like, yeah, for enough money. And it's funny when I think about the price that I gave him, which I mean, now I don't think people could relate to it, because I mean, you don't know how much I do make or how much to compare it to as a standard, you know what I mean? But at the time, I was probably getting like $300 a match. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'd cut my hair for, and he was like, how much? And I was like $5,000. I'd never gotten $5,000 before. You know what I mean? That sounded like all the money in the world to me at the time. And it's so funny now because, you know, I don't leave home for that. But Paul was like, I think you should charge more. Well, it was a thought that never went through my mind, you know. Hey, put an offer on the table, it's on my mind. I will consider anything, which I often say when people say, would you ever go back to or would you wrestle this guy, or would you do this if it was this? Hey, I would consider anything. Sometimes taking something up to consideration is a quick process as far as like, is this something that I want to do? No, but that is still taking it into consideration.
Right. Thinking about it, you give it a little bit of thought.
Yeah, and sometimes it goes a little further. Sometimes it's like, fuck yeah, I would be interested in doing that. You know,
Right.
that's the process of consideration.
Yo, Rob, we're going to take a quick time out just to say that this week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed. Get Blitzed Lit Aid Nano-Infused THC Syrup is a premium cannabis-infused syrup formulated with nanotechnology for fast-acting effects. And that advanced nanotechnology formulation allows for quicker onset and enhanced potency compared to regular THC syrup. It's Delta 9 and legal in all 50 states, every single one. And you have several syrups to choose from Blue Raz to key lime pie to pina colada to tiger's blood to cherry to grape. Just head to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, and get 15% off your whole order. Could be a bottle, could be a bundle, your choice. But yes, head to get-blitz.com, use promo code RVD, and it is by Mickey Ray Sinatra and Courtney. Take a look. Head to get-blitz.com, promo code RVD, get 15% off. It's one of a kind, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we are live here on OneTrueSportTV.com and Rob Van Dam's YouTube at The Real RVD. If you're tuning in live, use the super chat. That'll get you to the front of the line to ask a question. We have some One True Sport TV members here. Maddie, he's a new member, and he's a big RVD fan. Maddie, Mr. Marijuana. And we also have Yambag Jones here. We got our theme song man, Seth, in the house. Venus Beach Dub Club. Ashley BM's here. We just want to give some shout-outs to everybody. Voodoo Vic, who bought an RVD hat. We got a good crew here. So let's get to a couple super chats by Matty Ice. He asked a few. Matty, Mr. Marijuana, thanks for the $5. I found a lion in my closet the other day. When I asked what it was doing there, it said Narnia business. Oh, I get it.
That's fucking. I like it.
I do too. Has Rob ever met Snoop Warcheech in Chong?
Well, yes. Well, I know Tommy Chong, you know, like he's in my circle of peers. So I know him from living in California, from I think I met him through Cushionator and Medical Kush Beach Club, I think. And we're both in the documentary that's never come out about the Medical Kush Beach Club, the rise and fall. That's one of those projects that someday it'd be nice to just put the last 2% on that and do something with it. But believe it or not, there's at least 3 projects like that. And sometimes that's how production goes. So I don't even sweat it, you know, like I don't mind starting up, putting energy into something and then it doesn't go all the way through, or different stages of developments with different stuff. That's my norm. So that helps me deal with, dang it, man, I wouldn't have got that license and had to pay the corporation license for that company if I would have known that I was going to get ripped off. Just in the end, it's like that's the cost of doing production. You know, there's so way many more scripts that are sitting on a shelf wishing someone has already bought the option to make them into a movie and they still are doing nothing with them. Way more of those than the other. But anyway, before I get sidetracked here, I was talking about Tommy Chong, and I know Tommy Chong, and the last time I saw Tommy, we did the 420 con in New Jersey, 2022, I think. And it was their first 420 con. They had just legalized weed recently, so it was like a really cool thing to be part of, to celebrate. Just like Tommy, I'm a longtime advocate, so I take all the W's across the nation personally when it comes to the movement. And every time someone opens up a new dispensary, like it's way more important to me that people can access things that they need or want than it is for me to profit off of it, you know. So that's how I stand on that. And I've never met Snoop Dogg, been to a couple of his live shows, And I don't think that I met Cheech. If I did, it was just maybe Tommy might have introduced him to me. Maybe like, hey, hey, Robert, hey, how you doing? Like, shake his hand, but I don't know him. So,
hey, it's pretty cool though. Tommy seems like a fun dude.
None of your business. Hey, but speaking of the lion, I've been doing a lot of today, especially looking at research on lion's mane. If anybody in the chat room has tried it, I'd like to hear your opinion on it. It's a mushroom, and they say that it's got great neurogenerative properties, which, according to my understanding, is what protects the brain. The neurological protectants are new neurons being formed to protect them, and just and the layer strategy, for lack of a better word, and putting on new. So it has the ability apparently to build new neurons, which seems to be very beneficial for the brain's pathways, even connecting parts of the brain that don't normally connect, which is why people trip when they do mushrooms. But lion's mane in particular is something a little more specific. But I'm learning about the whole, or trying to anyway, the whole psilocybin properties, and anyway, I'm interested to hear somebody. But I don't need to hear you tell me what weed does, because I know a lot about that.
Well,
got a guy on Twitter arguing with me.
I saw that.
Because I got a call.
Like, your lungs. Look at what's in the tubes and stuff like that after you smoke it, and you're like, it's different. It's different.
Yeah. If you don't know the difference between your lungs and a pipe or a bong, I'm not surprised. Because you are a basic thinker. If you think all materials are the same, grab a magnet, see how many things in the house it won't stick to, and then all of a sudden, it sticks to something. Guess what? Those two things react completely different than all the other two things. And I gotta, I'll point out, as I've said this a lot before, but a long time ago, Mark Emery, the Prince of Pot in Canada, told me that when you hit a bong, you take really deep breaths, and then you access pockets of your alveola, and scoop out the THC. Will scoop out the impurities, makes you healthier. Your lungs are more flexible; it can take in more air because you stretch them. So then I got a guy on Twitter saying, no, man, you don't want your lungs bigger, or they'll hold more infections, man. Go ahead, ask someone to tie your alveola off. You don't even need them. Fuck it. It is, you don't need to breathe, dude. Go with your common sense, not with X-rays, not with science, not with backed up reports that are not going to make sense in your universe anyway. And then I also bring up this. Been on an airplane at least 3 times when they announce someone on the airplane is allergic to peanuts. So please, everybody, refrain. That's amazing. One person out of 200, and they're so courteous. They want everyone else to change their convenience for one person, one anonymous, unidentified passenger. I think that normally that's not how people even treat each other. You know what I mean? They'd be like, well, fuck that person. They shouldn't be here if they. So first off, that's amazing that they really work around that one person. And the other thing is there must be a reason. Like, that person must get such a bad reaction that the airline is going to somehow either be liable or it's going to disrupt their normal business. If that person freaks out, hyperventilates, gets sick, passes out, whatever it is, it's going to be something that's going to disrupt their business. They might have to land early. Who knows? But that's a lot. I mean, I'm allergic to cats. I mean, should I tell them, like, hey, can you just make sure that nobody on here is bringing a cat? Because like my eyes get all puffy and watery, and I start itching. I get like little hives. I don't want that. I'm back. I'm in 4A. Just but don't tell them that. Anyway, it's weird. It must be a serious kind of reaction, and what a weird thing too. But normally in society, we're not banning peanuts on an airplane. I guess that's your little circle of reality, and seeing is believing. So, that does work there. But in the rest of society, if you're such a rare person that you have some kind of genetic predisposition to have an effect on some kind of environmental stimuli that's a negative response to you, usually society says, well, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
You should wear gloves if touching paint, somehow gets urethral into your bloodstream, whatever. It's just people are predispositioned to different things. They got to take care of themselves. Some people need help breathing. Some people carry around a little thing or an oxygen tank or a colostomy, a shit bag, whatever. Some people get the thing stuck up their penis and they have to pee through that. I'm just saying that it's amazing that people, because if they get a reaction off of something, that they're ready to tell everybody else, hey, this is the way it is. If you say any different, I'm calling bullshit. It's amazing to have that basic thinking mentality. So, if you're tuning in here and you're getting RVD's one of a kind take, you're getting my perspective on that, whether you agree or not. That's what my values tell me.
Yeah. The basic thinking stuff. We covered basic thinking on the very first episode too about all
that. Yeah, but it's all just I feel like every time I talk about any of my values and any RV theology session, I feel like they're all so linked together. Like if someone did a collaboration of all of them, they don't contradict each other, They flow. I'm sharing with you my fundamental values of thinking, not things I have to remind myself, not like, oh, try and be a good person today. It's not like that. It's like what is at the ground floor that builds my perspective. And then that is what you see, my perspective on my choices, my actions, my decisions, my views. So happy to share that. Happy to hear, other people's values as well. It's something that's a lot of people don't get in touch with. So it's good to either way. Even if you do contradict me, I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're wrong by my way of thinking. I'm saying that.
That's it. Yeah. I'm looking up lion's mane, Rob. It does say it sounds pretty good stuff. By using lion's mane mushroom, you can improve your brain function and improve your productivity, focus, and overall well-being. It also says it fights against dementia. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia are conditions that result from cell degeneration in the brain. Our brain's ability to wire new connections decreases with time, and that is one possible explanation why when we get older, we have a tendency of our brains to function to weaken. So studies have found that two are special compounds in lion's mane mushrooms that can stimulate the growth of brain cells. Hallucinogens and irine. I'm not attempting to say that, but that's what they say about lion's mane. So
so it's not new to me. It's been around, but the thing is, well, the shrooms has always been kind of like in the peripheral of my world. The longer you're alive, the more that peripheral shit moves forward, and you end up learning a lot more information on something that just wasn't your main focus before, but it was kind of in your world. I find that out all the time. I'm learning stuff that I never knew I would know how to build this or whatever, but I always thought it was cool and interesting. That's why, that's why it's good to live long enough to be able to tap into all those different affinities. The shrooms have been around for a long time, obviously, centuries before Christ Almighty, and the science behind it. And I've had people hand me like prescription bottles size, containers filled with like a bunch of, here, dude, it's lion's mane, dude, just take it, man, hit me back later, man, you'll be thanking me. And I'm like, how many do I take, dude? How many did you take? I go, I just took 2. Take more if you want. Like, that seems to be everybody's view, and that's, I guess, what has, I don't want to say turned me off from the whole fungi studies, but it is something that's detached me from being able to learn about it, because I know that I'm going to have to start at zero and learn from firsthand experience. And on top of that, I'm asking AI, I'm asking other people dosage recommendations and stuff. Everybody uses this term microdose, and they just throw it around now, and no one even knows what the fuck it means. They're like, dude, are you microdosing mushrooms, man? I've been doing that. Oh, really? How many grams are you taking, or milligrams? They don't fucking know. They have no idea. And obviously microdose means something. So I found out that I guess it means to take 10 to 20% of the amount that you would take if you wanted a trip. And so it's like taking under that. And then there's a range within microdosing. And of course it depends on your body weight, your susceptibility, a lot of factors, your own personal brain chemistry, of course, just like everything. But there are suggestions to go by, which are confusing, just like always, because this will be talking about a dry powder, this talking about a liquid extract, comparing milligrams to grams, and a lot of it I'm going to have to learn from experience. But I'm down to learn about it, and kind of excited about it too, about the possibilities of what I've learned so far. And this week, there's a huge cannabis industry convention in Las Vegas called Champs. Ooh. My guys from Greek Glass are there. Really? Hang out with them yesterday. Yep. And saw my glass pieces at their booth, which is awesome. They got new ones coming in too. But this show was so big. I'm going to be putting the footage together and showing a little bit of the scenes of what it was like at Champs 2024. I'll put that on my YouTube page real soon, like within a week. I'm on it. But anyway, huge. I mean, the whole floor of the convention, at least the whole south wing, and then they had upstairs too, which they didn't have in the past. And I've been going to Champs for, I don't know, a long time, 10, 15 years. Not every year, but I've been going that long. I see some of the same people. It's cool to see them after not being there in a while. And anyway, a lot of it was about shrooms this year, and a lot of it was about kratom. Mm-hmm. A lot of it was also, and so that's what got me interested in mushrooms this time. Is like yesterday, going through my samples and talking to people. Like I'm not susceptible or sensitive to almost anything, So like some people gave me some mushrooms there, I was like, oh, okay, and then walk there after a while, like walking around on our way out, we saw them like, hey, huh? I was like, maybe, like I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive. Yeah, you're like, I'm not tripping my balls. I was like, I think I feel a little bit of energy. Maybe, maybe I'm tapping into it. I'm going to be hanging on to this feeling and studying it on my way out, but that's the way that I normally am with everything. And I take a lot of kratom. I never get fucking high off of it. But now I got a company that does nanoemulsification, which is shrinking it down and attaching it to a water molecule. It gets absorbed right into your bloodstream, so you don't got to go through your digestive system. 100% absorption that way. Complete game changer. And that's not even new. I knew about that when I first got with Jerk and Jerkier about the CBD company. You know, we had meetings about doing nano, and a lot of it is like how it works for you and what you react to best. So that's why I always say we're all different. We're all made of different chemistry in the brain, in the body, everywhere. So don't expect the exact same results that you have is what everyone else is going to have. That's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, maybe you're right. If I get my head cut off, I'm going to assume I'm dead. And I'm going to go ahead and tell other people, hey, by the way, guys, you know, if you get your head cut off, probably your heart's going to stop, you know, pretty quickly. That's extreme. But to say, you know, hey, if you get a full, if you stay up all night and you don't get any sleep like you normally do because you got to work through, you'll start seeing shit, man. Maybe not. Just because you did doesn't mean that everybody else will. And you're a basic thinker having a basic conversation. Hopefully you got another basic thinker because that's very non-productive.
Man, imagine being married or having a relationship with a basic thinker. It kind of wouldn't line up though. Like you probably just wouldn't happen, you know? It'd just be like, I don't know. I just thinking about that. It's kind of like, yeah, you know, you want people to think a little outside the box.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever is a good match for somebody, you know what I mean? A lot of my peers just want somebody to, you know, to marry them, to have their kids and stay home and cook food and keep it clean while they go out on the road and live like a rock star, you know, and it's like, yeah, whatever works for whatever, you know. Every sitcom, by the way, since the beginning of the time, portrays the husband / father as being the ultimate basic thinker.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
We're all Homer Simpson, like, chocolate,
donuts.
But I think also we all once in a while catch ourselves doing something and be like,
yeah,
that's stupid. You know, I wasn't thinking about that. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely something to be aware of.
Absolutely.
If you can.
A lot of people chiming in about this. Oh, go ahead.
Also, I wanted to say the THCA, that's what I'm smoking right here because it's a sample from it. People are asking me what I think about the THCA. And I really just learned a lot about it in the last 24 hours, you know, from my Greek glass comrades. And then I asked AI. And like always, I like to have a few different sources before I start telling people this is what I learned. But we had fake cannabinoids that were legal pot over the last couple of years, and that included different deltas, Delta 8, Delta 10, Delta 11. And also we had THC1, and we had all these different lab-created cannabinoids. And THCA is different. And so this is what I've learned about THCA. It's one molecule off from being THC, which is straight up marijuana that is still federally illegal. Okay, that's Delta 9, THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. THCA is tetrahydrocannabolic acid. And that's what makes it different. But just like a stem cell can become another cell, androstenedione can become testosterone. It's a, it's on the molecular scale, like one place before, and it can become something else. And anyway, THCA on its own doesn't do anything, so they can sell it now. But as soon as you light it, it becomes THC.
Really?
And it's straight up drawn from the plant, just like THC. So it's actually, you know, they would actually, I guess they would grow the plant with the minimal amount of THC, which is 0.03% to usually by the state law. But to have the cannabinoid of THCA, the acid of it's still there, and then when you light it, whether it's in a bong or a joint or whatever, it becomes THC. Thereby, you would still fail the drug test, but it's legal to sell it. And trying it, like I have been trying all these samples, I really can't tell the difference. You know, it's like, yeah.
Do you feel any effects to it at all?
It's very similar to. It feels just like the research says. You know, like I'm like once it hits my lips, I'm just smoking a regular doobie. So, you know, what I have isn't my favorite flavor or my favorite paper necessarily, but besides that, it doesn't taste like fake weed. Doesn't taste like the Delta 8 or Delta 10. Even smelling the buds in the jar, which they had everywhere at Champs, it's very much just like the weed that we're used to. So it's just a loophole.
How about that? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, but speaking of papers, Rob, you got some new ones, or not new ones, but
my favorite papers. These will spoil you if you get used to RVD rolling papers, which I always add in. They're like raw papers, which are also my favorite.
Yeah.
I smoke RVD papers because I got boxes of them. But raw papers are the same thing. They're unbleached, so you just taste the weed. And actually, they gave me a bunch of gifts at the raw booth yesterday. Yeah, Josh, the owner, he's always creating new stuff. Anyone that follows raw papers on Instagram knows what I'm talking about. Always inventing new stuff and posting about it. You know, new ways to smoke or new contraptions you didn't know that you needed. You know, like, what is this? It's you hold your joint with it. And it's like, what? Everything from everything to everything. And anyway, they gave me a bunch of stuff yesterday, and one of them is not reachable right now, but it's even thinner than the normal papers. And he was telling me that it takes him a while to roll with it because they're so thin that it makes it more challenging. But he said afterwards, he said for him, it's a game changer because he can taste the cannabinoids in the flower. And that's the thing. The more you smoke, if you develop certain taste preferences, man, you can't handle the thick white zigzags. Like, it kills the experience completely.
Wow. Jeez. Well, guys, you can go to RVDRobVanDam.com and buy them right from the site there, right?
RVD rolling papers. I think he's got some sign there too. That's eBay DJ. My eBay dude DJ.
Yeah.
eBay DJ. I guess that's what we'll call him. New nickname for Derek. eBay DJ.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it'll take you right to his eBay store. So go to RobVanDam.com and
I'm sending him a bunch of shit tomorrow too. A bunch of shirts that I pulled out of my closet, wrestling shirts and stuff like that. I just always have too much stuff, man. I got 3 hampers full of stuff. I'm like, what the hell? I got to get rid of another one. I do that all the time, but people give me shit. It collects, it accumulates, you know, and sometimes you want to show off brands or sponsors. And anyway, sending some micro brawlers, a bunch of laminate cards. And
red eye ones? Or you got the red eye ones, or you got different ones that you're sending to micro?
I'm not sending him any of those. No.
Okay, those are pretty rare.
Yeah.
Those are the rare ones.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex, guys. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get the extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night. so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in the line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RVD at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RVD to receive your first month free. Visit Blue Chew for more details and important safety information. And we, RVD and I, thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Guys, if you do like your own kind of t-shirts with Rob, we got some new ones at OneTrueSport.com. Be sure to check them out. Mr. Monday Night, that's the first one we made. But then we have the old school ECW looking one from the ECW days, a tank top and the regular RVD one. You can also get the hat or the tank top. So go to OneTrueSport.com or scan that QR code you see up yonder there. There we go. Some super chats here. We got some good ones here. A lot of people talking about the mushrooms. So Maddie says, my hippie friend told me to try lion's mane for his mom. That's cool. And then Seth also says, lion mane definitely helped me not stress out. So how about that? That's a good one.
Yeah, see, so one thing to follow up with about my non-sensitivity, you know, people ask me 20 minutes later, you feeling it? You know, like, no. Ask me an hour later. I guess, you know, maybe I need a bigger dosage or whatever. But, and that is usually how I feel with mushrooms too. Like everyone else is partying on their asses off. And I'm like, maybe you should save these for you guys, you know, usually. But from what I understand now, I think maybe if I give it like a week, maybe I'll notice a difference. And that's more with the generative properties that are really what I want to take it for. I mean, if you want to trip, then you're going to take over the maximum amount of the microdose, which is called a macrodose. And I'm learning all about that, you know, but I appreciate the input from anybody, especially from their experience, not just from what they've heard, because I can look up my own shit like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to make sure I get all of them covered here. I didn't pass any of those up.
So next week we'll bring it up. I'm going to take them every day. Although I ordered some that I'll get until Saturday, but I'm taking some that might be real or fake that someone gave me for 2 days, and then I'm going to start. I'm going to take it every day for a while and see, because it looks like there's reason to believe it could help.
Hey, nice. Well, yeah, we'll have to keep updated here for it, right?
Yeah.
See how it goes.
It talks a lot about for really people that want to be creative, and you know, not just people with Alzheimer's potential or brain damage, but just people. It says that it's somehow like it does things in your brain that aren't normally done. It connects areas that aren't normally connected and allows you to think in it from a different perspective. And some of the things I saw said that, you know, for someone that wants to really get creative, that lion's mane helps them actually get in a position where they're not thinking from their ego, and it pulls them apart from that solid foundation of perspective, and allows you to see things that you wouldn't normally see. And some of that I get from my experience. So, you know, some of it I'm pretty stoked about. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's neat kind of just trial and error kind of stuff too when it comes to a lot of that thing. Maddie says,
I noticed like I had a good trip in when I was in Hawaii on shrooms.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like I've had a really bad trip with Joe C years ago. And usually I don't feel them, but I was eating a lot of them trying to catch it. And when I caught a little bit, I was like, okay, I get it. Like I'm seeing little traces, you know, like in the patterns and the leaves and the trees. And so every time I kept feeling a little bit, I was like, okay, I get it. So let me I don't want to lose it. When it start going down, I'd say, wait, let me eat some more. You know, I was trying to tap into that. And one thing I did notice was that there was so much that I noticed that I normally wouldn't notice, but it was so obvious that it's always been there.
Yeah.
And so that's like what I understood when I was hearing someone else explain that helps them in a creative way, because I remember being at the urinal, tripping at whatever hotel restaurant, and I was pissing, and I'm looking at the wall, and the patterns of the wall it was bricks, so they're rectangular bricks. And just looking at it, like, holy shit, there's like messages, tiny little scribbling that goes all the way along the bottoms of the bricks on all of them. And it wasn't English, so I didn't know what the fuck it said, but it drew me in. And I was just like, you know, like, what else? You know, what else am I not? Because I never, ever would have known. And it was just, and then, you know, and then it gets to a point where, because of certain parts of your brain being connected and running at the same time together, you start hallucinating if you get to that point. And that's, you know, an extension of that. You're seeing what's there that's always been there that you haven't seen, but then eventually you can start seeing things that aren't necessarily there physically, you know, like the lights and things like that. But anyway, I'm far from a pro when it comes to taking mushrooms, but of course, since I've been alive for hundreds of years, I definitely have enough experience in everything to talk about it some. But definitely, it's an area that I need to fill in some gaps, and I'm going to be doing that, and I'll be sharing it with everybody if it's something that I think everybody should know.
Heck yeah. Maddie wants to know, because he says, I've never had shrooms, but I live where they grow. Yes, there's you can forage a lot of mushrooms, I'm sure. I know Pennsylvania is big for mushrooms.
I remember, I don't even know who I was with. Would it have been Dango? It doesn't seem like Dango would have been into mushrooms. Anyway, I remember at one point trying to find farms with cows out in the pastures and actually looking for the shrooms and the cow shit. You don't know what you're getting or what you're going for. There's such a big difference from one mushroom to another, and they certainly don't all contain that psilocybin, which is what you're looking for. And the lion's mane has something else that I can't pronounce, which is one of the stronger active ingredients in it. But you know, there's some mushrooms that'll kill you that are poisonous too. So that's ridiculous. But that's how wide based the knowledge starts, is knowing nothing at all, going around like idiots through cow shit looking. And I did that. I remember doing that at some point. Even though I wasn't really into them, I was curious enough at some point in my life to have those memories.
Yeah. Maddie started off too with one of these chats. Joe Hendry versus RVD. Sabu looked to find him funny. What do you think of Joe Hendry? Have you caught anything with him, Rob?
The only thing I've seen with him is that the guy, did we talk about this last week? That he put his, tell me if we did, otherwise I talked to okay, anyway, big, there's two big billboards outside of the big arena. I don't know if it's the O or whatever in London.
Okay.
What's that thing? Or the high,
yeah, there's
anyway. What is it?
There's the O in London, and there's also Wembley Stadium.
So I think this was outside of the O, I believe. I just saw this somewhere. I guess a YouTube video probably, that the guy paid to have his own face up there on the billboards, on two billboards outside of the O Arena. And I didn't know who the guy was, but I watched the clip because they interviewed him, and I was like, that's kind of funny. Why would the guy do it? And anyway, he said he asked somebody, another name I didn't know, but it was somebody that was his wrestling mentor. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I guess he's a wrestler. he asked him about it, what he thought about it, about him using his own money to put his face up there. Everybody would have to walk by the billboards and see it on their way to the front door to get in and out. And his mentor told him, I'm not sure how the business is going to look at that, but, you know, definitely they'll say, for you having the balls enough to do it, you know, that'll stick around a lot longer than any heat or something like that. And I got to say, I mean, that's the kind of shit that would get you kicked out of the dressing room back in my day.
Yeah,
for sure. But at the same time, is it a bad idea? Self-promoting, how much bigger self-promoting can you get? But as you know, you just weren't allowed to be a mark back in the day, and that's exactly what this is. And it's like, it's so funny. Every time I'd walk into the pay-per-views, walk by all the trucks, I'm like, how come there's no RVD on the side of the truck? You know, you know, those guys, they're all guys they're trying to build, wishing and hoping that they'll someday be, you know, on a level that I've made it to. You know, fuck them. I'm here right now. Why don't they realize they got their money invested in me? And they want people to come and see me, but that's not the way they think. They think big picture. And anyway, I can just imagine pulling up with my own truck with a big TV screen, a big monitor with RVD on it, and saying, "Hey, man, I just took it out of my pay, man."
That's it, man.
I don't know about him other than that, but is this gimmick that they're putting his face everywhere, or is that just?
Yeah, so like if you say his name, he'll appear. That's kind of his gimmick is going on. So like if someone
like magic. Like
magic almost. So like on NXT, so he's in TNA. That's his mainstay is in TNA. But NXT has been doing like a TNA crossover, and Joe Hendry's been a big part of it. So somebody will say his name, and then on NXT, like he'll pop up on a screen or something like that. So he's been real. It's been a fun gimmick kind of thing. And apparently he does like parody songs too. And so in Britain, like he's British, I think he's British, but he did a song. His theme song was like hit #1 on the British charts or something like that. And so like, he's been really like catching fire, but he knows how to market himself and kind of do all this kind of thing. And I know he wrestled Kurt Angle on the indie scene before. And so it's pretty neat to kind of see him doing this. But a lot of people are curious if his gimmick though will just stay as a comedy actor, or if he'll be able to elevate himself to like a more kind of serious main event kind of role, and how he'll be able to make that transfer. If he'll be able to make both work, so to speak. So
I don't know. It seems like people like him. I'm looking in the chat room, and it seems like people think he's funny and stuff. So that's cool.
People
even
like
you talking about him, you're laughing. Your delivery. So that's cool. So good luck, John Henry. I think of John. Who's the big crazy dude? Heidenreich. When I say the name, I always think of John Heidenreich because it's HENDR and, you know, AY, and those are all in Heidenreich, I think. But
that's a good point. I never thought about it. Yeah, it's true too.
It pops in my head just because he's from my life, and this guy I don't know. You know,
right? Maddie says, if you YouTube best Joe Hendry entrance, I laugh my effing ass off. So check that out. Oh, this is an interesting one by Maddie. Did Rob watch Mr. Ed? Please YouTube Joe Henry. Also said. Did you watch?
Did I watch Mr. Ed
as a kid? Yeah. Did you watch Mr. Ed?
Sometimes. Yeah, I didn't get it regularly, but I would get it when I would visit my grandma in Detroit because we only got the 3 local channels, and then she got a couple of other channels in Detroit we didn't get. I don't remember anything about it except for the theme song, you know, the famous Mr. Ed. That's all. I don't remember any story happening, any characters in it. I just remember the opening. So I don't know if I actually watched it or maybe I was pretty young though. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember watching it as a kid. It would be on like afternoons, I think on like Nickelodeon of all channels and stuff like that.
That's something. Yeah. I was kind of, a little bit. I kind of like missed the Nickelodeon age. Like, little older people, a little bit younger than me, watched a lot of shit on Nickelodeon that I didn't watch. Even my friend Eric Peterson, who lived across the street. He was only like 1 grade under me. But when I go to his house, he'd watch the thing where they had the slime on it.
Yeah,
and,
you can't do that on television.
Yeah.
I remember that show. Do you know with Mr. Ed, they had to make him talk, they'd put fucking peanut butter in his mouth. And that's how they would like record him talking, quote unquote. I do also remember a scene of him, the horse playing baseball.
Yeah. It's cool how back in the day, you know, before everything was done to death, until you could digitally recreate it and make it way better than the original. But just, I love that about history, like in a lot of areas, but motion picture industry is and Hollywood history is a big area of my affinities. Keep saying that word tonight, but just how they, you know, like before you knew how to do stuff and before there was experts, it's, you know, it's like, hey, how are we gonna how are we gonna on our budget, you know, make it look like all these people are fucking you know, like we got 1,000 people running by the camera. Well, you know, get as many people so it stick. Have them circle behind the camera and keep running, you know, and boom, you know, and then it's movie magic. Yeah. You know? Charlie Chaplin days and shit. I love that. It's yeah. And I always think it's so much simpler to understand now that we grow up in much more technological times, you know, that I always think I could go back before there were standards and I'd be the best Tarzan. That's what I always think. Like, I'd be the best actor out of all of them when they haven't seen shit yet, you know, like in their 30s, maybe.
Yeah. I still think
that's the thought I've always had, though.
I still think you'd be great in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
I think you'd kick some ass in that. Literally. Let me see here. There was something else I wanted to cover.
There's a movie. This weekend is San Diego Comic-Con, and there's a movie trailer being introduced that RVD is one of the stars in that hasn't come out yet, and I'll just leave it at that.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I can't wait. I gotta keep my eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Maddie says, Van Karthoven is my last name. My cousin says he will show me his backstreet cafes. Only one of my cousins smokes in Holland. I've never been Holland. Have you ever been to Holland, Rob?
Yes, I have quite a few times.
Yeah,
I've met some good friends over there, actually. And I love Amsterdam. Outside of Amsterdam, because a lot of people were saying, oh, but everyone only sees Amsterdam. They don't see the rest of the country. But actually, I wrestled in Rotterdam one time, and I saw that as well. But I like Amsterdam a lot. And now, not only is Amsterdam itself different, but some of the value of going there is taken away because we have more freedoms here now as well. But it used to be, they used to have like so many coffee shops there, and the coffee shops sell weed, and it would just be, it used to be like the only place to go where it was okay, you know, publicly you could go there and get some coffee and go to the other bar on the other, you know, in the back room or whatever, or in the front room. You know, I'm not trying to imply it was that kind of shit. Just usually you get the drink somewhere different than the weed. That's all. But, you know, hey, let me get some Grandma White Widow or a pre-roll or whatever, big menu, whatever. And you smoke it there in public, drinking coffee. That's where I actually started liking coffee, was from experiencing that in Amsterdam, and it made me feel a little more sophisticated, you know, like I was not just trying to get stoned, but actually, you know, trying to wake up and clear my mind and get myself in a good feeling situation so that I could use my mind, you know what I mean? And anyway, they shut down a lot of the coffee shops. They changed it over the years. They still have some, but at one point they went from, I want to say from like 300 to like 35. I love the canals. I'm not sure if that's the 35. I'm pretty sure about. I'm not sure if it was 300, but I think it was. And then, you know, you can still get it there, but it's not even legal technically. So it's a weird system. But besides weed, which a lot of the marijuana world knows Amsterdam for weed, because they used to always host the Cannabis Cup, which High Times magazine would promote the hell out of. It was a once-a-year event, and then they changed their rules, kicked us out, and then I went to Jamaica, and they said, "Oh, okay, wait, we want the tourism back," and then it went back to Amsterdam, and there's been some changes. But I like the way it's set up. I like the culture. I like how free thinking the people seem to be. There's a non-judgmental vibe there. Even just, you know, a father walking his kids, you know, by on the sidewalk, whether you're out there smoking or whether you're someone spray painting on the sidewalk, or whether you're a street performer or a homeless guy, or what. It just seems like, I didn't see a lot of homeless people there either, but it just seems like everybody overall has like a vibe to use as goals. I've always felt like that there. I like the canals. I like the narrow face. The buildings are so narrow, you can't carry furniture up the steps because they're so fucking steep. Wow. So they have pulleys outside above the top window to carry furniture, and they all have pulleys. You see them. That's just part of the Dutch world that is different than us, for them to pull their furniture up. And I've always liked that people think because of my name that I'm Dutch, because of my professional name, that is. They also think I'm Belgian. But I haven't been there in a little while. You know, I probably shouldn't share this, but I already know I'm going to, so fuck it. I'm not trying to talk bad about somebody. I'm just sharing a story. But one of my favorite places was called Funny People. And one of the reasons it was my favorite cafe, it was my favorite cafe. I liked where it was located. It was a little bit a block off the main beaten path. But the guy was a wrestling fan, so of course I'm going to be drawn to that because he treated me good. Also, for the Europeans, that it's very popular to put tobacco in with the weed and smoke it. And Funny People, if you were going to do that, you had to sit behind the glass in the glassed off part of the place. And in a lot of places, it was the opposite. If you wanted to be fresh and smoke fresh weed with no tobacco, then normally you were subject to whoever's sitting next to you and whatever the fuck they were going to do. But at Funny People, didn't have to breathe in tobacco because all those people were off there. The guy was a wrestling fan. I liked the coffee. He was telling me that he remembers seeing Bam Bam Bigelow over there and saying that Bam Bam was pretty fucked up. Mm-hmm. And he was talking heroin, but from my insight, I know that Nubain was something that Bam Bam liked to do, which I understand is similar to heroin. So I see the guy could be mistaken or could have liked it all, whatever. I don't know. But I'll always remember Bam Bam's gone when I'm having this conversation with the guy, the owner of Funny People, before he had to close down when they changed all the rules, and he was a sacrifice to the new regimen. But I remember him telling me he felt like Bam Bam was going to go soon. He said he was out there, you know, like in the streets, fucked up, you know, which makes me think maybe saw him passed out, sleeping. If you've seen anybody that's under the effects, sometimes they're just that much above being asleep, and that's no way to be out in public either. But that always goes through my mind, and I thought, you know, that would have been a cool connect to have, to talk to Bam Bam about funny people in Amsterdam, right? That's a
Yeah.
fucking, isn't that the cool place, man? Fuck yeah, I like it too. But we will not have that conversation, alas.
Sheesh. Jeez. So I'm looking up Bam Bam. He was only 45 when he passed away. 2007. Autopsy found Bigelow's death was due to multiple drugs found in his system, cocaine and benzo. Contributing factor to Bigelow's death was atherosclerosis. I don't know what that means.
Arthroscoliosis.
ATH. Yeah, arthroscoliosis, I guess. Scoliosis.
What is that? Sounds like something to do with your heart.
Yeah.
Up, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You might be right.
Arthroscopic is slightly invasive surgery that's done with just putting a hole like in your knees and going in and a camera. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, full circle with Bam Bam. I remember seeing him on the TV in my mom's kitchen before I was going to a live wrestling show and seeing the wrestling school that he was at and thinking, fuck yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. And then, of course, I had the great matches with him that because of working with him, I've reached a whole new level, definitely, because of him. So he's always going to have that connect with me as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. And it's kind of neat, too, because, like, if you were a kid around that time and watching wrestling, it was neat because, like, oh, man, I've seen Bam Bam before. He was on WWF. He wrestled Lawrence Taylor, whatever. And then all of a sudden he's in this completely new environment of ECW, and he's going up against something like a Rob Van Dam. And it's just a neat way.
Yeah, I like the chemistry between him and me, And again, like I was at that point where I just felt indestructible. Like whoever it is, you know what I mean? Like, one, I'm not going to get hurt. Like I had in my mind, I was invincible, So two, man, I'm going to bring it. Everyone knows I'm going to bring it. So they know they got to bring it too. And that's how I felt with my ego, but also with my engagement into the ECW vibe and being the whole effing show. Boom, loved all of it. And Bam Bam was as big of a battle in the ring, like we both fucking had to make each other work for everything. But then also, I enjoyed his company. I remember smoking with him, smoking a doobie outside the arena, and him trying to tell me that I would like that New Bane. Robbie, you got to try New Bane, man. If you like the feeling of this, you would love New Bane. I was like, yeah, I hear you.
I'm okay though. Yeah. Hey, we got to give a big shout out to 3 Diglets. $100 Robbie gave us. He gave us $100.
Holy fuck, man! They're our new financer.
Jeez, oh man!
Oh,
right?
What can we do for 3 Diglets?
I don't know. We got to think of something.
They got give them their own. They got the next 30 minutes.
Yo, Van Dam, my guy. I remember my first time I saw ECW. I was like 12 at my cousin's New Year's party. I was bored at the party. Went inside a random room. Started flipping through the channels and saw you kicking chairs into people's head. You the man, Rob.
Well, I appreciate that very much. There's not even a question there to answer.
Not a question.
Obviously, it does bring back some good memories. And I get asked what was my favorite wrestling organization to work for. I always say that ECW was the most fun overall. Yeah. WWE was more money, reached bigger heights of stardom. They pump you out to almost 200 different countries and put me into societies where the kids look up to me and I'll never even know the name of their country. It's amazingly huge on a total different scale. TNA was easier. It was like working way less for the same contract. So I always take a standard. But for ECW, it was so fun. Part of that fun was being hungry because on your way up, you're building yourself and all of your efforts paying off a tribute to that. And it's an accumulative victory of all your hard work, trying to reach more and more people, trying to not fuck up, you know, and get more consistency, getting your game up, and seeing all of that go towards the bigger picture of helping the entire organization grow. You know, that's all. It was all really fun, but you know, I wouldn't want to be hungry again. I wouldn't want to be under those conditions again, working that much for that little or whatever. But as far as being creative and as far as just really being plugged into the moment during those matches and having the biggest energy payoff, you know, it's always going to be ECW, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
In that way, anyway. Like, everyone knows there was nothing to compare to that. So, that part of that was they didn't like it so much when I showed up to WWE and was kicking chairs into people's heads. it depends, you know. Some of the wrestlers didn't like it because they weren't used to it. Vince liked it.
I bet he did.
Yeah. So they were trying to give me heat, but I didn't have any heat. I only had heat with them, and they weren't going to do shit about it.
Yep.
not to, you know, I mean, not to talk like tough, but that really was the condition. You know, if somebody was really offended, I would just be like, all right, you know what? You owe me. Go out, take it right now. Go ahead and give it back to me. That's the way that I was taught.
Yeah.
So, boom, boom. All right, you feel like you owe me? Let's do it now instead of worrying about till next time we work each other or whatever. But, and, you know, I did have to call some of the guys out that were a little too boisterous afterwards, a little too pissed, where it was like, and I don't want to name any names, but I remember one time being like, all right, Tess, what are you going to do? I said, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know? you heard me apologize, right? I apologize. You said you're cool with it. Are you sure you're cool with it or no? You know, like I got to find out. Dude, there's been so many times throughout my career where I couldn't take my boots off yet after the match until I found out how my opponent felt. You know, there's been many. I could probably do a book on those. I could think of a list of them. You know, Rene Dupree was in there, and
was he?
Big Guy Ryback was in there.
Ryback.
And, Big Jungle Jim Steele. You know, there's just some times where, boom, whether I really catch somebody, Abyss. You know, definitely. Where afterwards, it's like, okay, I don't want to get caught with one boot untied and one boot tied, one boot untied, laces tripping over him and shit, just in case somebody's hot, you know. So I'm going to wait a few minutes, and that's happened. One time I was waiting for Jim Steele in Japan, and I waited and waited and waited. The motherfucker stayed out. I knocked him out, and he stayed out for like fucking 15 minutes. It was crazy. And then when he came back, man, he was just his normal self. He wasn't mad. He was just confused. Wait, what happened? You know, like he couldn't hold on to facts, but he was in a good mood, if anything. Rene Dupree, it gave him the giggles. I guess I can tie my boots on. He's laughing. He thought it was hilarious. He got high off of being knocked out from my kicks. But anyway, that wasn't the point, you know, of me. And I don't think I was reckless, but the fans enjoyed seeing me kicking chairs into everybody. And the truth is, the ones that were really in there, that are solid, that is more entertaining. Seeing it, oh, fucking that dude ate it. And that's what it's all about, right?
Well, at that point too, it was like getting hit with a chair was like devastating. And then the way you did it, throwing the chair and then fucking kicking him with it, that was like, okay, the match is over. Like, that's how you look at it back then. And now it's like chairs are used all willy-nilly and all that stuff.
Yeah, I saw a clip of Cody had a chair and somebody's like feeding so long. They're like
where's it going? Where's it going?
Bam! They got hit in the back, and then he threw it to somebody, and then he ran and jumped up on the rope and did a springboard off the second rope, and the guy's just left there. That's a bit long. I mean, I knew I was stretching it, doing it as fast as I could, just going bam. You know what I mean? Originally, in my mind, when I came up with it, I thought that I was going to be able to maybe kick it in midair before they even catch it. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, if I cheat and have my feet, my right foot totally behind my left foot, and I throw it up, if I can just bam, that was kind of in mind. But what we got was, the Van Daminator. That was the result of me thinking of that and then actually in real life, doing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, back then, some people would complain, not people that were taking it, people in other companies or RVD haters or whatever. Sometimes they'd be like, but why are you going to catch the chair? Like, why not? And like acting like that move is so unbelievable. And I'm like, all right, I mean, you don't have to catch it. I'll just kick you in the face, but we back then in the day, we never would have left somebody staying for too long, or else they would have just snapped out of it. It's happened to me lots of times. Like someone just felt like I was leaving them there too long. They recovered. Oops. Yeah. That was part of the business back then. But now it's about, okay, I got to be here in position in order to pull this off. The agenda is different. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what the fuck are people going to do, though? If you throw a chair at me, Rob, I'm going to catch it because I don't want it to hit me. So, and they're going to kick it in my face anyways. But instinctively, I think I would.
It would make a good shield, I would think, like, right? Oh, shit, but yeah. But nowadays, I always say that about the style nowadays is like, if I was even pushing it a little bit, they don't even care anymore when let me pick you up, in a full Nelson, and you wrap your legs around my waist, and then you're stuck. You can't get your legs back. But anyway, that's what it's different now. So, but what brought that up anyway? That was me kicking chairs into everybody and stuff, and maybe that's why we don't see a lot of RVD, because maybe we want to get away from that fucking stiff-ass style and make it more. No, I don't think so. Who knows? Like I said, the guys on top, the people in charge like it, just not the people that were not used to the stiff style. There was a list of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fair to say.
I think it's crazy, though, like, that. Yeah, I hear those stories too. You're saying is like, oh man, like somebody works a match and then like I gotta wait to see what this guy's gonna say or come back, and it's like you almost think that, well, that's just part of the business. Like, okay, I got hit, and that's the way Rob works, that's the way I work, whatever it may be, and it's like, I don't know, it's wild to kind of think like that. People be like, oh, I'm pissed about it. Like, yeah, maybe you got hurt and stuff, but it's wrestling,
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to make a comparison, but now I'm kind of stuck putting myself in the shoes of that perspective. Uh-huh. And like if you're a legend and you're in there with a young guy, and the young guy does something stupid and fucks up and hurts you, I get where, as a legend, you feel entitled to be like, let me whip this, then you don't fucking handle me like that. You know what I mean? Like, right. I get where that would come out of it. Same thing, even if you weren't necessarily a legend, but you got more experience than the other guy, and the other guy is doing high risk moves or something that's going to make you look stupid, or even if they slip. Like, for instance, you go do a springboard on me. If you slip and fall, I'm gonna jump on you like a cat and put the boots to you, and that's what you're supposed to do from what I was taught. You know what I mean? Like that's the business that I got into, and that has nothing to do with whether you were trying to do something besides slipping or not. Either way, if you fucking slip and fuck up, and I'm laying down on the mat like a piece of shit, Sheik would have wanted to catch me on fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. What are you doing? Wait for him to get back up and try it again? Like, no. that wouldn't work. And that happened to me lots of times. If I just, like I say, if I just took a little too long or looked up a little too long, you know, then they'd get up like, what are you doing? You know, someone that was a veteran would have been like, well, yeah, I mean, you left me laying there. I couldn't, you know, but.
Yeah. No, it's definitely one thing if you're a veteran and like a younger guy does it and takes liberties or whatever, then I totally understand. But if it's like, okay, hey, I'm going up against Rob Van Dam.
Right. If it's,
you know
yeah,
I mean?
that's true. You know, yeah.
Uh-huh.
If it's like me and Rhino and I kick Rhino really hard in the fucking cheekbone so hard that he can't even sell it and it's swollen up. That'd be funny if he was pissed. I wouldn't be like Rhino. It'd be, why would he get mad? But but I think the same thing also about road rage. You know, like why do people take it so personally if somebody messed up and like hit their bumper or something? But they come out like, so you motherfucker, you know, blah, 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 get out there, get out here, you know, and they're so pissed. And it's like, sometimes it's over a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get how shit escalates because like, even yesterday, like me just pulling out into the highway, somebody felt entitled to lay on the horn, beep, and I let him go. But I'm thinking, you know, like, I feel like I could, you know, be like, fuck you, you know, like I consider that option just because I'm offended that they think that they have the right to be pissed no matter what I did. Even if I was at fault, you don't have the right to be pissed at me, you know what I mean? It's like, but honking the horn back would probably piss them off. Just beep, honking it back at it would be like, what? I have the right to honk at you. You don't honk back at me when I'm honking at you when it's your mistake. Man, it escalates. People are so fucking angry, and then with anger comes super power. Is that, you know, everyone that's mad thinks like, man, fuck you, I will fuck you up. You ain't gonna do that to me. Anyone that's, you know, when people get mad, they are super people in their head.
Right.
In their head. I don't know if you saw this or not, but I seen this posted on 3 or 4 different channels on Instagram. So I even reposted it because I thought, man, people got to see this and keep this in mind. But it was same situation, some kind of boom car incident. But the guy goes up to the car pissed, and he's got a gun in his hand. Have you seen this? Goes up, bam, 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 and he's like, first he's knocking on the window with his gun, and then he's got the gun down to his side. He's blah, 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 and he's yelling. What do you think the guy inside does?
Oh shit!
Fucking kills him.
Whoa.
Guy drops down. What the fuck do you expect? You're not. Don't feel entitled to fucking go up on somebody, even if you don't have a gun. If you got a gun, then of course they're gonna fucking shoot you. If you don't have a gun, they might shoot you anyway. Just you being pissed off. It could be a mom and her kids or whoever. You know what I mean? Like I always think, like, man, at that point, when you let anger take over, you kind of deserve what you get. If you get something that's not very rewarding for the anger.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's fucking nuts though.
I saw so many times. I reposted because I was like, people got to know this. They got to keep this in mind, man. There are consequences. And besides, you know, it escalates quick. But sometimes they get out pissed just because, you know, you wouldn't fucking let me over. And they didn't even, you know, I never saw what the person looked like that honked at me yesterday. I didn't make eye contact. I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm still going to get to the destination safely that I'm getting to, even if you think that, you know, you would have made a different decision.
I did you a disservice or whatever.
How dare I have different values than you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We got some other super chats to cover. I want to get to some of Seth's here. He says, sorry, RVD, but you're wrong. Your hairstyle actually is the coolest. As mine. If someone pays you to cut it, can I make a counteroffer for you not to?
Well, yes, but keep in mind, my price has gone way up. Just like I told Ted DiBiase, if he wants me to kiss his foot, my price has gone up considerably.
Much more.
When I saw a picture of Seth, must have been a profile pic of something. Maybe it was on Twitter. I think he was doing my thumbs actually, but it was a shot from the back. I thought it was me at first.
Really? No shit.
Yeah, he's got a ponytail and shit, and I was like, "Is that me?" And oh, it's not me. Yeah.
It's Seth. You got to let us know too when your album comes out. Let us know when your new album comes out. Following up to Rob, he says, "RVD, if you come to wrestle in California, we're down to come play a little higher live for your entrance if you want."
We can't even get the rights to play it on YouTube.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we got to work on that first.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind for sure, dude. and I'll help you push the song, advertise it, however that works. I don't know how it works, but fucking happy to post it out or whatever,
Oh, yeah. Get the word out. It's such a good team.
One thing that I thought about doing before for a contest, I guess a contest, even if it's not a contest to follow all the way through with, it's at least a thought. Yes. RVD is known for caring about his fans and listening to the fans and being genuine and all that. And I thought about this a long time ago. I never shared this thought though, but I thought like I should ask. I got like 1 million followers on Twitter, whatever. I should ask them if you had. In other words, if you were RVD, what would you post? If you had the opportunity to post something to all these followers instead of the 13 that you have, how would you take advantage of that post? Like if I gave you free rental on a billboard to use one time and boom, show the world, what would it be? And that was a thought that I had. I didn't think it all the way through to think about, should I have people send in ideas and then pick one or whatever? But I think that I wouldn't mind whatever it is doing that and sharing that person's fucking post, which I know a lot of people don't have the ability to reach a lot of people, which keeps people basic minded sometimes, not everybody. But it is a good reason to not grow when you don't travel in very big circles. But anyway, I just wanted to share that incomplete thought. And I do wonder that. So, tweet me or fucking comment if you want. I'm not saying that I will post it, but I am curious. What would you post if 1 million people were going to look at it?
How about that? Yeah. We could think of a little hashtag to use or something like that, too, if you want. We could do something like that. If you have something, use hashtag PitchRVD. How about that? PitchRVD, and we'll see what happens. Other super chats. We got a couple from Maddie still. I noticed JR smokes now. I think Stone Cold should smoke. It's Stone Cold.
Yeah.
He'd have better chats with his cats. What did RVD think of? We know about Mike Awesome, but what did RVD think of Mike Awesome? You had some great stories already with Mike Awesome. And,
yeah, I loved Mike Awesome. He was at one point he was next to Sabu, probably the closest guy in the business to me. We were road wives, which is what we call it when we travel together. 2000. Well, it was 2001. It was Mike and I. Sabu wasn't even in the company at that time. And Mike Austin, but Mike was a friend of Sabu's from FMW. So that's how I connected with him. If you're a friend of Sabu's, you're a friend of mine, and it was like that. Same thing with Louis Piccoli, anybody. But, he was in Sabu's clique if he was on the road with Sabu. And so he and I became travel partners. And actually it was at 9/11, the OG experience when we were stuck in Houston and all the airplanes were grounded, that we picked up Sean Stasiak because him and Sean were good friends. And then it became the three of us. And then Mike was out. And then it was me and Sean for quite a while until I think they let Sean go or whatever. And besides that, Booker T and I, and Booker T and Nick Patrick and I were travel partners. Me and Sabu always will be. And I don't think anybody else. I think besides that, I've just always been by myself. but you get to know somebody when you travel on the road with them. And Mike was a germaphobe. I found that hilarious because he's a big fucking gladiator, that'll fucking squeeze you through the guardrail, but with his power. But afterwards, he was just so funny at how particular his habits were of cleanliness when we would go to eat. And it made sense. But I mean, most of us would go and wash our hands, come back to the table. He would wait because he's like, why wash your hands and then handle the ketchup bottle? That's a good point. How dirty is that fucking ketchup bottle? You take the cap off of it, and you're going to pour that ketchup on your hamburger, and then you're going to be – everyone that touched that ketchup bottle all day is now holding your hamburger, And so Mike would wait until the food came, and everybody that wanted to come by and shake their hand that we could see, anybody that wanted to come and meet us was all gone, and he'd wait till everything and be like, okay, I think I'm safe. And this is after he put the salt and pepper and ketchup and mustard, and which is really smart, A1 sauce, whatever, you get the point. But then before he actually touches his food, then he would use the hand sanitizer. And I thought it's smart, but also so peculiar. And I thought it was funny at the same time. And I thought it was even funnier when he would get ready to eat, someone would come by and say, RVD, oh my God, Mike Awesome, I love you guys. He'd be like, God damn it. And they'd be like, I'll shake your hand, but can I do it after this hamburger? And him getting mad would make it even funnier. Because he wasn't joking about it. He was like perturbed at the issue, not at the guy, but just at the issue. And it was very funny. Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. He seemed like a good time. I tell you what, I think it was the first one night stand in 2005. You had that match with oh my God, why Masato Tazaka. And holy shit, that was like the show stealer there for that one.
Sure, yeah. I mean, one of the best ECW matches ever. Put that up there in competition if you're voting on the best match fucking ever. So with ECW, I just great wrestler. I thought he was a great representation of ECW as a heavyweight champion. Right, I really wanted to build up the TV championship to where he and I could someday go belt for belt with a lot more eyes on us from our own separate individual efforts of putting two really strong pillars up. And I was going in that direction, but not all the way through. But I wanted to wrestle him in heavyweight championship for the TV championship. I was a big fan of his work. And one thing I got to say about him personally, because if there's any chance that his kids are listening, watching, or anyone that knows his kids is watching, I got to say he loved his fucking kids. He missed his kids every moment when he was on the road. And that's what he looked forward to coming home to, was hugging and smelling his kids.
That's a good dad right there. Talking about their kids all the time.
He used to like smelling them, sniffing them down and stuff. And I thought that was funny too.
That's adorable though too. Let's see, Maddie. He says, "Who would you give a joint to? Stone Cold blew past you at the Raw reunion. Love to see Stone Cold. RVD is genuine. The whole fucking show. Who would you give a joint to, Rob? Out of wrestlers.
Out of everybody.
Out of everybody.
Stone Cold blew past me.
At the Raw reunion. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I might have talked to him backstage before.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Because he is always cool to me. We have the same birthday.
That's right, man.
I always enjoy his company as well. He's not a fan of partaking with the cannabis, so he would rather drink a beer while I smoke a joint if we were to spend some time together, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna, but I want to pass it to someone that's not going to waste it. And if we're in the business, who would I pass the joint to? I pass the joint to Booker T. I pass the joint to Sabu. Pass the joint to Little Guido. I would like to pass the joint to Mike Tyson because he is in the industry. You know, he's Tyson Ranch cannabis. He's got gummies that are shaped like an ear with a bite taken out of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, he's doing really well with it. And I met him at a convention last year. Dennis Rodman actually introduced me to him. But it's always a big deal when he's there. And the way he looked at me like he was a fan. You know, he didn't say, but just, oh man, it's nice to meet you. You know, like I felt that love from him. And so I would like to light up and talk for a few minutes with Mike.
Oh, hell yeah. He's a big wrestling fan too. Like I know he grew up with,
and he's always been involved in it, you know, part of it. And I have tremendous respect for, you know, what that motherfucker's accomplished. And I'm not just talking about how hard he can hit. Man, when he bit Evander Holyfield's ear, by all means, he should have been banned from boxing legislation for life.
Right. Who would think of biting an ear?
They couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford to do it because the money that motherfucker brings in here to Las Vegas so much that they lose by trying to punish him. That is that's some next level shit. Let me put it that way. And so, you know, all they could do was ban him for a certain amount of time, take the losses themselves with it. But they couldn't wait to have him back on. And that's you want to talk about being over, dude. When the local economy is dependent on you doing your thing, you're over. You're fucking over.
You're fucking over. Mm-hmm. I just put a clip on my Instagram of him. I don't know who the guy he was boxing. I don't know who it was, but the dude was like swinging like 18 swings. This is prime Mike Tyson too. Mike Tyson is prime. So the guy's like swinging at him 18 different times, and they're making like little sound effects like he's missing him.
Not touching him, huh?
And not punching him, and Mike's like dodging him and miss. And then all of a sudden, boom! Mike cracks him, and he's down. He's out. That's it.
Yeah.
Really, I was like, dude, that motherfucker is a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'll smoke on with Mike someday.
Hell yeah.
I actually went to a party at his mansion, but he wasn't there.
Oh, dang. That's sweet.
But anyway.
But speaking of Evander Holyfield, apparently, I just read this. This is some synchronicity, right? Synchronicity right here, Rob. Is Evander Holyfield's kid is going to reportedly train with WWE. Like work out there and try his hand at wrestling.
Well, good luck to Evander Jr. Good luck.
Yeah, pretty neat. All right, let's see. Well, we got some other ones to super chats. Maddie just says, I think Rob will laugh at Sabu's reaction to Joe Hendry. So apparently there's a video of Sabu reacting to Joe Hendry. So we'll have to check that out.
Okay, so that's what he was talking about in the comment.
Yep. And
I'll ask Sabu about him too.
Ask it. If we keep saying,
what do you think about him? What do you guys think about him?
Yeah,
I guess you guys like him.
Tell us what you guys think.
Sounds like you guys like him, unless I'm mistaken.
We keep
someone to keep an eye out for. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Keep your eyes peeled, because if we keep saying his name, he'll appear. Then he says, "Pick a hand. People don't f with us." Van Dam fan. So there we go. Liam Evans chimed in. Just rolled up. He's also a One True Sport member. Just rolled up. Gelato times Skittles. Tried it, RVD? Have you tried that? Gelato and Skittles. You tried that?
I have. You know, if you go through a list and try every combination and try to ask if I've tried every single hybrid, I don't know. But that, yes, and it's not something that's like new around here in Vegas or in LA. So that's something that's been around a lot by themselves and together. I don't pay much attention past the first time I hear it when it comes to what pot is. You know what I mean? Yeah. I maybe, or no, these are the THCA right now. But hey, my weed guy was there last night too. But at the Champs. Who else did I see at Champs? Anybody worth mentioning? Was there any other wrestlers or famous people? No, I didn't see him. Um, anyway, the girl that Katie boxed was there. Just Jessie Lawless is her name. Um, fuck. Anyway, what was I talking about? Talking about this. You know, people always ask me too about strains.
Yeah.
To me, like that's like. I don't know. I guess it's like a race. If I hang out, I want to hang out with a bunch of cool people.
Yeah.
I don't care if two of them are black, one of them's Chinese, one of them's Japanese, two of them are American. I don't care. To me, they're just, you know, a bunch of cool people. Like I very seldomly like, huh, are you of Irish descent? Yeah, I mean, you know, if it's part of who they are and it comes out in the way they talk, okay. But that's kind of how I feel about marijuana and about the buds too. You know, like when I get it, you know, sometimes you know, ooh, it's Skittles, you know, times gelato. Like, okay, sweet. If you ask me tomorrow what I'm smoking on, I won't remember because it doesn't mean anything to me because I don't care. You know, it's like if I like it, then it's good. It's not often I don't like it. I mean, sometimes I will say, man, I got used to that weed real quick and that didn't do anything for me, or is this kind of more of a downer? Like I don't want that kind. And then you kind of want to remember what it is. But just being around the industry so long and being around the flowers so long, I'm just used to people giving whatever names they want to whatever. And my friend that ran the Medical Kush Beach Club, where I talked about that earlier when we were talking about Tommy Chung. He used to buy weed and then he would rename it as part of his process to make it sound cooler. He would give it wrestling names.
Oh, really?
So he might buy 4 pounds of strawberry Kush and then he might call it Arabian Face Buster.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, and like that, you know, he'd buy some fucking, here's some banana Kush, you know, times diesel fuel or whatever. And he'd be like, do you like it? And he'd have me approve it. Like we tried different joints and whatever. I was like, wow, you know, I like the smell of that, the taste. It was a really good energetic high, dude. I like this one. It's all right, cool. This one's the Rolling Thunder. And because of that, I've never given a shit what something is called because one, I don't know how true it is anyway, that's really what it is. And because of that, people were always like, why don't you have your own weed? Dude, he used to call shit Rolling Thunder, Van Daminator, Van Terminator, you know, 5-Star Frog Splash, whatever. There's been lots of weeds localized named after me. I've had other people say, bro, I live in Ohio and I grow my own bud and I call it RVD 420. Good for you. You know, it's always been like that. So unless, and now that you can package it, now I feel a little bit more protected. That's why I went ahead and started talking with those guys about starting with the RVD CBD, is because if we can package it, then we got some protection. But even then, it's still like only so much, you know? Right. And when you come to the strains, it's not like each strain has its own logo or packaging. It doesn't. You know, if it's gelato, that doesn't mean anything. Gelato is not going to have its own special anything. It's going to be in a whatever kind of see-through container, and bam. So because of that, I try to avoid like really strong indicas for the most part, unless I just want to heal up or sleep or got a long flight or whatever. But other than that, you know, I smell the bud and I you know, eventually taste it and feel it, and I just go by that. So
yeah. No, it just no, there's different things to try, but you obviously know what you're doing and handling it like that. So let's see here. Oh,
I'm okay. Keep going.
It's not a podcast episode.
I'm gonna live.
You're gonna live. I feel alive now.
All right.
Maddie says, I want to pass the drink to RVD. Smoke to Mike, then. Smoke to Mike. Mike Austin. Say his name and he will appear, I believe, in RVD. Hey, there we go.
Damn.
Yeah. Yambeg Jones has a good question.
There you go. Appreciate that. Oops. Fuck.
Damn.
Well, we're talking about him. He must be over.
That's it. Who's one guy you never got to work with, or not much at least, that you would have loved to work with more, says Yambeg Jones.
These questions are always really challenging for me.
Yeah. Kind of mentioned him already in Mike Awesome because, like, you all also.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Perfect answer. Thank you. I would have. See, Barbie. I would have liked to have wrestled Mike Awesome a lot more because I didn't wrestle him at all.
Yeah. And you also mentioned Sid too way back in the day. How you would have.
That's true.
Match with Sid. Mm-hmm.
That's true, but that was something where, you know, the promoter put it together. I was looking forward to it. It would have been awesome. I was disappointed it didn't happen, but and that's true. But with Mike Awesome, you know, that was a lot more long-term thinking, and it was for the betterment of the company, and it was more like, you know, one of the only long-term storylines, if you want to call it that I feel like I was really invested in, because while I was having the best matches, in my opinion, and some of the fans' opinions of the night, every night with the TV championship, that wasn't done before. The TV championship was supposed to be more of a secondary belt when it came to importance, but here I am the whole effing show. People were cheering for me throughout the whole show till I would come in at the end, and I was doing that in a way that was good for me, obviously, but good for the company, good for the story. And while Mike was an awesome, no pun intended, heavyweight extreme champion, you know, I wanted to put that off as long as we were growing. You know, wait, not yet, that one of those things, because ECW's crowds were growing, our opportunities were growing with everything, you know, just getting our name out there. So I wanted to make it to a stage where we were at our absolute biggest and then collide. And I'm sure those would have been some of the best matches that I had in ECW. I'm sure I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. And it was neat too, because you talk about how big of a dude Mike Awesome was. He looked like this champion that would, like, just this monster that could stop. And then you would contrast with them with your abilities and your different style in the ring. It would have been a hell of a match. And then plus the cachet you were building by holding that TV title and making that your own. Like, and then boom, you guys collide. It would be big.
Yeah, but in all of that, the best thing about all of that is that it's not, that whole story isn't something that was written, you know, in an office with people that were paid to come up with something. That was real. That's what was happening organically, and those are always the best situations. So.
You can, no doubt about that. Was there in WWE, like, was there like a top guy that you were like, oh man, yeah, I could have had some more cool matches with them, whether it was like Rock or Austin or like Undertaker or somebody like that? Was there any of those guys that kind of stood out to you that were like, oh yeah, we could have worked probably a really good program if we continued a little bit more or something? Or do you think you covered all of that?
No, I think, you know, I got like a little taste of most of that. You know what I mean? Like Rock, I might have wrestled him maybe 2 times or something. And Stone Cold, I guess, you know, just a handful. Same probably with Taker. I feel like I wrestled Taker more than the other 2. And then, but yeah, for the most part, I don't think about it. But I mean, what I do think about is it would have been cool to been in a main event storyline that the office believed was worth putting on main eventing the pay-per-views.
Right.
And that was something that I got over regardless of them not doing that.
Yeah.
With me. Or however you see it. Them not doing that with me or me not being up there. You know, however you want to see it. I don't know. I didn't main event too many pay-per-views. I don't know how many. I guess YouTube Chris can probably tell us. Yeah, I just remember obviously the ECW with One Night Stand, obviously, but Dreamer told me that we main evented or no, I don't know if it was a pay-per-view. We main evented Madison Square Garden with one of our matches.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
Interesting. YouTube Chris will know.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure
Curious
it out.
Curious now if I main evented more than one match. I mean, I've been on posters and shit, but usually though it'd be like Trips and Hunter and Taker on top or whatever back then, and then even if I was on the poster, then I would be mid card or something. But
yeah, I'm sure there had to be a couple.
So I think about that. I don't think about individual wrestlers that I would have, liked to have a longer program with or worked more times than I did. Not like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that totally makes more sense.
That's why it's hard for me to answer because I don't think that way.
Yeah.
Fantasy matchups,
Fantasy stuff, yeah. Jem the Dawn, thanks for the $2. He says RVD and Dom always making my week better. RVD fam, thanks, brother. Oh yeah.
All right, appreciate you.
Maddie's got
it's definitely Van Dam fam. Oh, I just had it on there. Somebody's trying to come up with Van Damites and
some names.
Where's he go? Van Daminax. That's Matthew. He got it. Huh? Manny McMarijuana.
Yeah.
Van Damaniacs.
Like Hogan.
Van Damaniacs.
Van Dam Maniacs. I like that. That's pretty. I like the Dam fam though. That's nice music, and you use that. You can. Okay, Maddie's got some good jokes though. Why do cows have hooves and not feet? They lack toes.
I like that. It's the simple. I love it.
What do you call a chicken that is staring at a lettuce? Chicken sees a salad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Which bear is the most condescending? A panda. Oh my god.
I don't get that one.
Like panda, he's condescending you. Like a panda.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. My least favorite. I get it, but it's my least favorite of them. I like the rest of them.
Yeah. I think Caesar salad's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Thanks for the jokes, dude.
Oh, here's a good one. Matt.
I got to do stand-up tomorrow night, by the way.
Yo, okay. Yeah.
I haven't even thought about it. I'm not even going to think about it until tomorrow.
Are you going to write out a set, or are you going to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it, I haven't even thought about it. I don't even know what we're doing, but it's a roast, so it's going to be a little different. It's Roastamania. The posters on the posters at robvandam.com. But I don't really know what to expect, but yeah, I'll write some material and have it handy. It's been a while since I've been up on stage. Hopefully, just like always, I'll feel sparked and creative and want to do more after this because I just haven't been thinking in the creative mood in a long time, and that's only when I do it, So I do it when I feel like it.
You do.
I'm RVD, and that's the way it works with everything. So, but that's tomorrow. So, just like with everything, I'll wait to the last minute. So I almost got to panic, and then I'll fucking get out a pen and paper and put some shit together. And it's at the the people aren't going to see this, but it's they are watching it now. Yeah. How many people do we have, by the way? Because you usually say we got Twitter.
We got quite a bit. We got 2,335 and counting. So 2,000.
That is crazy.
Yep, a lot on Twitter. On your Twitter, we're watching.
But anyway, it's at the old Hooters. I've done stand-up there before, but it's now called Oyo's, I believe.
Oyo's. I'm looking.
Ohos, Ojos, Onos. No, I think it's Oyo.
The Great Comedian Bash, it's called. The Great Comedian Bash, Saturday, July 27th at 9 p.m. I think you can get in, it says maybe $10, I think, is the tickets. Is that right? I don't know if I'm reading it right. When I click on it, it goes to Montreal Comic Con, though, so the link doesn't work.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, it goes to Montreal Comic Con for next year. So, yeah, Google Great Comedian Bash and type in RVD. Maybe that'll pop it up for you. I'll probably do that right now. Great Comedian Bash. So Maddie asked a good question. He asked, "What RVD match who would I like you to see in an RVD match, or who would I like to compete with?" I got to think about that.
Question for you.
That's a good question. A lot of you've already done that.
Where we get our ratings.
Well, if we're making it up, if it's like fantasy booking, I would say I would love, because I grew up a Scott Hall fan, I'd like to see you fight Scott Hall. I think that'd be a fun.
Scott Hall?
Yeah. I think that'd be
And you know what? I'm trying to think, and I haven't worked with him, but there was something that me and Jeff did at TNA when Scott and Kev were in a cage. And I don't know, I feel like maybe they already had their match, and maybe we ran in and they left some baby faces down, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if fucking YouTube Chris knows that. I don't know if it was on TV, but it was early when I first got there. So 2010, and at the studio for sure. And NWO was there, whatever they called themselves. And
the band, they were called the Band in TNA.
Yeah, like I never worked with Scott, but I remember being in the cage with him. Maybe I even took one move from him. I kind of feel like he might have, I don't know, if he might have given me a move or I might have given him a move. Like maybe there was a little interaction, but they must have left. Maybe me and Jeff were going to work with them and they left. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that would be my dream match then, you versus Scott. I think you guys would be a fun one. Because they're bigger size, but you got different style, and I think you complement one another really well. When
he wrestled X-Pac as 1-2-3 Kid, at that time, I remember just like the rest of the universe thinking like 1-2-3 Kid was just like a kid, and he looked like way too small to be a wrestler, right? And that was the whole gimmick, was like, no way, and you know, no way he can beat the big guy. You know, it's the easy storyline of the fucking giant. And but he did a moonsault, a sloppy ass moonsault, like almost a half crossbody, half moonsault. But it blew our minds at the time. We'd never seen that before, and it was so impactful that Scott caught him and he stayed down for the 3 count. 1-2-3 Kid had the victory. And it's funny when you think now, even the way the 1-2-3 Kid looked back then, if you put him into like today's wrestling scene, probably more average. Probably wouldn't stand up.
He would have blend right in basically. Like,
yeah,
from a size standpoint and athletic standpoint too. It's like, okay, wow. Yeah, but he was really transcendent with a lot of that stuff.
Athletically, I mean, you know, yeah, it's hard. It's just hard because that's like so much has been, you know, yeah, he would have been on today's moves, not on, but yeah, he was a pioneer like me. So back then, no one was doing that shit. So yeah, if you plugged him in today and he was doing the same sloppy ass moonsault, that might not be so cool compared to the 3.5 fucking flip shooting star press that you can watch from the next match. But but we all would have pushed the envelope from where we were at today. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
100%.
Hell yeah. Never happened. Big guy, the bad guy. He escaped my wrath.
He did. He did 5-star versus the Lone Wolf. I would have loved it. Instagram, a wrestling historian. Thanks for the $2. What's your favorite kung fu movie?
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill.
I think so.
Ooh, okay.
I think so. I mean, you know, I like. I mean,
is that a Billy Jack movie?
Is that a Billy Jack movie? No, it's what's her face from Pulp Fiction?
Oh, Kill Bill. Kill Bill.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, Kill Bill with Uma Thurman.
I guess because I thought of the actor from Kung Fu, the series, is in Kill Bill. As it's Bill, right? It's fucking, isn't it?
I think it is.
I think
Bill
is from Keith Carradine. I think his name is
David Carradine.
Kevin, Keith, whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
I think that dude. If I'm not mistaken, huh?
It was
Kevin Carradine.
David. It was David.
It was David Carradine. Tell me this: did he die from strangling himself while he was jerking off?
Yes, I believe so. Let me make sure that was him.
Asphyxiation.
Auto asphyxiation.
Yeah, that.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So when I heard Kung Fu, I just thought of that because if you're talking about if you're using that term in a broad sense, just, you know what I mean, all of the martial arts movies, man, that's hard. There's so many with all the Jackie Chan and Jean-Claude and
Bruce Lee.
Of course. Yeah, but if you consider those Kung Fu movies, just any martial arts movies, I don't know. I think I'm going to just stay with Bloodsport because that impacted me a lot, and haven't had a movie impact me as much later in life, just because movies don't impact me as much later on. But so that will always stand out in that way, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it is. That's how I like. If I'm like, and I do that for people, I impacted their lives. When dude, I grew up watching you, man. You were the shit. And so, like, I'll always be that for them, even if they haven't seen me in 20 or 30 years. And even if wrestlers don't, make them real excited anymore like they did when they were in high school, I'll still always be theirs. Just like Bloodsport, I guess, is probably my favorite Kung Fu movie.
Hey, nice. I need to watch Bloodsport. I don't know. Mortal Kombat wouldn't count as a kung fu movie, but
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love
that. Yeah, I loved watching all those action movies, and they were obviously a big part of filling my head with imagination.
Yeah, right. Oh man, can't beat this stuff.
When Tony Jaa came along, he was so cool because not only did he do his own stunts, but also his stunts were amazing. If you haven't seen Tony Jaa, you could look him up on YouTube.
And before Tony Jaa, how do you spell his last name? Rob?
J-A.
Oh, just J-A. Oh, there he is.
The dude who do stage acts where he does stuff that you would see in the movies that you could easily fake, but he does that shit for real. Like he can jump on a gang of 5 people and run on their heads. And then jump and flip off the last guy. And well, if you see, he does. If you YouTube him, he does like amazing shit. So he came at a time just a little after the action movies were like really peaking, and otherwise he would have blown up so much because like he was doing moves we hadn't seen before. I remember doing the running, like jumping knee to somebody's face, bam, and like, whoa, like, because I watched them all as a kid, and Steven Seagal and Jeff Speakman, and they all had these different arts, and they were all going to be the next big action star. And Tony Jaa definitely, like, he's the real deal. So if you look him up, he does shit that you can tell there's no cables. There's no digital effects. You're watching him on stage with his people doing shit that you see in cartoons.
Damn. Yeah, he's in the On Box series.
Yes.
Yeah. He's also in the Expendables. He's in several of these. I'm looking right now. I'll have to definitely check him out because it's been a while since I've watched a good kung fu movie. I'll definitely check it out. Ken Terminator DQ, thanks for the $5. Rob, is Nick Nemeth joining you in your next stand-up show? No, I just looked at the poster. He's not going to be there. But he says, plus, Dom and Rob, do you guys think the former Dolph Ziggler would be a dream match with RVD? Would that be a good match for you and Nick Nemeth? Did you play before?
Well, first off, I got what comes to mind is I don't have bad matches. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I doubt it's going to be the first bad match I've had in 35 years or whatever. But also Dolph is really good, and I've wrestled with him. I don't know if we've had singles match or not. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but when I was in WWE, he was still like up and coming, you know, and hadn't reached his stardom yet. But I remember when I did the comeback, not the one in Pennsylvania, but I remember being in it was either a Money in the Bank match or some kind of ladder match where he was involved and Shield was involved.
Okay, yeah.
And probably Sheamus, but not for sure. And I just remember that might be the only time I've been in the ring with him, maybe.
Wow. You guys would be really great together.
But yeah, he did comedy at the Nerd Bar a few weeks ago, but I didn't make it. I haven't seen him, but I like him. I do want to see what he does on stage. If he does comedy, then like me, our material is different than the other guys that just tell wrestling stories.
Right, exactly.
So which I expect but I don't know. Maybe he does both. Who knows? I don't. But he's not on the poster, so unless he's doing a surprise run-in, I don't expect to see him. And that's tomorrow night. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and start stressing about that. But I'm not gonna stress. I probably will stress at 7:30 when I remember and haven't thought about it all day. But that's how I roll.
How you roll? This is Roastomania at 9 p.m. I'm looking it up right now. You're right, Rob. It's at the Oyo. Hilarious insult as friends become enemies and enemies stay enemies. Roastmania combines comedy roast battles with a wrestling environment. And Rob, you are the featured on the poster down below with all the comedians above you. So guys, check it out. And, just type in Roastomania and it'll pop up VSR Comedy Club.
Cool. And I will fix that link at robvandam.com.
Yeah, fix it online.
I got something else to add to it also that I don't think is on there. That's happening August 17th in Edmonton, Edmonton Mall in Canada.
Ooh, Canada, eh?
August 17th.
Jeff Meacham, Network. Hey, man, I met you before I know that. I met you at Arcade. Just saying hello, brother. Vegas fully melted yet? Is Vegas fully melted yet? How is the temperature over there, Rob?
Oh, hey, what up, Jeff? Appreciate you. It's how far past hot can you go? You know,
I don't know. You reach a certain limit. It's all pretty hot then.
I'm trying to think of what it was I discovered today, because like I already said last week, but still I have my jacuzzi like down to the 90s and it's at 107 naturally. What was it that I saw today that I thought was it? Oh, my sauna. I'm saving money on my sauna too. So when I get into my sauna and haven't turned it on yet, it's already at 105.
Wow.
And I was thinking like Katie and Dee go to this aerobic kind of workout in a sauna.
Is it like hot yoga or something?
Huh?
Like a hot yoga thing or something like that?
Hot yoga, yeah. But I think she said it's 103, and I think that's the name of the thing is 103 because it's set at 103. And I'm just wondering, so like, is it cooler when you go in there? And she says no, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like it must, like maybe it feels. She says maybe there's steam or something that makes it feel or because everyone is closed in and maybe the bodies make it hotter during the thing. Anyway, there's some question mark as to why the 103 hot yoga doesn't feel, because when I walk to my sauna, the 115 degrees feels very, very warm, right?
Right.
But I work out in my sauna, and then afterwards, when I come out, it feels, when I come out of the 140 degree weather temperature that I was working out in, that 115 actually feels a little chilly. It's kind of wow, it's nippy, yeah. But so I don't know how that works with the yoga, but to the guy that was talking about bong lung on Twitter, everyone is prone to react differently to different environmental stimuli. That's obvious, but for most people with normal lungs, they don't have to worry about this bong lung condition. And I was just thinking, can you get that from smoking doobies or just bong? Because I smoke, I think by most people's standards, you probably consider me a heavy smoker when I'm home and or when I'm able to and have it, I'm usually smoking it. But the reason that I'm gasping for air is because I'm doing cardio in my sauna at 140 degrees, and it's a little hot box, and it's hard to breathe in there. If you're having troubles breathing and you're gasping for air because you're sitting on your couch and you want to blame it on the weed, then I will continue to differ from you, my friend. I think it's your lifestyle. Probably has a little bit to do with it, and I don't suggest that cannabis usage is for everybody, but I do suggest when it comes to claims on the effects of it, we can go to science. It's been around for quite a while, so there are people like RVD who had my lungs x-rayed. Mm-hmm. Can't discount that just because your pipe has resin in it.
You're right.
So anyway, I just want to mention, I don't want to make this out into a whole RVDology because maybe I will talk a little. I'll go into that, but I'll wait till we're done. But it's getting to be a long show, so
we got a couple more super chats.
Here.
Yeah, plow through a couple of these. Yambag Jones, who was the best wheelman you ever rode with?
I mean, you probably want to hear about the boys, and those guys, like Sabu is always a horrible driver, and he would drive this huge Winnebago through tight little streets in Queens, New York, hitting cars like bumper cars along the way, and it was always scary, always a scary situation. When Booker or I would drive, the other one could take a nap if we felt like it and trust that we were in good hands. Although I did get lost once and go the wrong way after an exit. Booker loves telling that story. But what comes to mind, though, really is Big Show's driver, because Big Show had a deal, and now a lot of the guys do. Back then, it wasn't so common. There was 2 or 3 maybe that had their own bus.
Yeah.
And Big Show would rent a bus, and he had a driver. And if it was so many miles, which I don't know, let's say 300 miles from point A to point B, then the driver would probably take him there. Otherwise, if it was much further, Big Show would fly, and the driver would drive there and meet him. And then in the towns where it was convenient, he would just stay in the bus. And I hung out with Big Show for a few weeks, and I remember experiencing that. And it wasn't real comfortable. It was comfortable because I'm in a bed but just waking up and knowing that, you know, we're going 60, 70 miles an hour down the highway and I'm not stationary like in the hotel room would still freak me out. Yeah. But, you know, you had to be able to count on that driver, which we did.
Yeah.
He was a good wheelman. And, you know, he would take, wherever home was, he would get to town A, I guess, and then meet Big Show there and then take him on the loop. And like I said, if it was too far, it was better to fly. Big Show would do that. But the guy in between, Big Show would go home. I don't know what the guy did. I guess he took the bus home, probably wherever that was. I don't know. Or if it was easier, he probably took the bus to where the next show was going to be in 3 or 4 days and then flew home himself. I don't know. But we were traveling so much, it would have been better to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, a lot of those guys driving those big buses and stuff like that, they know what the hell they're doing. So, Maddie has a good joke again. What do you get from a pampered cow? Spoiled milk.
Nice. I like it. I like all these farm jokes.
Yeah, keep bringing them, Maddie.
We're gonna find our mushrooms as long as we're out here on the farm.
Bring them on next week too, Maddie. Gambag Jones for $5. Something about seeing Rob versus a prime Yokozuna sounds fun as hell. He was great for his size, and you could have made him look like $1 million.
That would have been. That definitely would have been cool.
That would have been.
Yeah,
for sure.
I only saw him one time, and that was. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make sure that I got the right guy. That was Rodney, right?
That was Rodney. Yep.
Yeah. So I only saw him one time that I remember. There was some show in New Jersey, and this would have been around 98-ish, 98, 97, 99, somewhere in there. And that's when we were at ACW, and Sabu was still trying to get booked twice a day if he could. And I was like, dude, why? And, you know, like, aren't you tired? But he loved the business. And this was one of those shows. Maybe it was an Ian Rotten show. Holy crap. Oh. Maybe. But it was a big show. And I remember seeing Yokozuna there. And what will always stick out in my mind was that he was sitting in a love seat. And he took up the whole thing, and his ass was stuffed in from one armrest at one side to one armrest at the other. And if you don't know what a love seat is, I believe it would be correct to say it's one cushion less than a whole couch.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a couch is probably three,
and then
normal, and it was like 2, so very wide. And I was like, wow, he's sitting there, and his ass was fucking 5 feet across. Yeah,
the whole thing. Still pretty damn athletic too. He could do.
And he's buried by where I lived in California, so I have seen his. It's not a headstone because it's on the ground. So yeah. Tombstone. I've seen his gravesite because he's buried in Rancho Palos Verdes, and that's where I lived before I moved to Vegas. That's where Louis Spicoli ended up getting buried at. And, you know, besides that, you know, it would have been great to get in the ring and wrestle him for sure.
What do you think that would have been too? Yeah.
Yeah, I did wrestle. No, I did a run-in on Tonga Kid, and I broke his nose with a
that's right.
big sidekick. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that would have been a good one, though. You and Yokozuna. Cool. Well, that's a good episode, bro. Man, hefty episode too. Just hit 2,500 too on here. So,
for
tuning in. Hell yeah. Rob, did you want to do a little RVDology, or how you feel about it?
I'll try to wrap it up real quick with, you know, if you haven't heard of the author Mark Manson, I recommend him. Often when people ask me about spiritual books that might help them, I mention the same books that were influential to me, like Celestine Prophecy and The Secret and Four Agreements. But one book that is definitely worth checking out. And you can even get the audio version, even on YouTube for free. It's something that I can relate to a lot. It's not something necessarily that isn't something that it's something that I already came into contact with at a stage where I feel like, man, I could have wrote that book. I agree with them on so much. And it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. A lot of people have heard of this. If you haven't, now you have. And it's a great book, and it goes over some important facts that you should keep in mind. Like, you gotta really look at and decide when you're really going to give a fuck. You only have so many fucks to give. You can't give a fuck about everything, or else it doesn't. Your whole opinion on things and your interest in things, the whole value of everything doesn't mean anything if you're over excited about everything. It brings everything. It doesn't mean anything. So there's certain things that, it's so easy to look at and say, is that worth giving a fuck about? No. I mentioned the guy honked his horn at me when I was driving the other day. And it would have been so easy to be like, what? Fuck you. I don't care what I did. You don't got a right to motherfucker me like I know you're doing. I mean, so much easier and better to just not give a fuck and just smile and be like, yeah, whatever. I didn't even look at him. It's something that goes very, very consistently with my pacifism, and so a lot of times, like if you watched my documentary, either the one on Peacock or maybe even the one on A&E, the one on Peacock maybe a little more. I feel like my story that was told, like people ask, what's your legacy going to be? I feel like a lot of the higher ups or basic thinkers that aren't people that just aren't me, because I'm one of a kind, mistake my pacifism for not giving a fuck. And in reality, a lot of it's right. I don't give a fuck about a lot of stuff. I told you I didn't give a fuck about my hair. You know what I mean? Like, it's, like if Katie really, really wanted me to wear it in a different way, I would consider it. And, I'd probably be like, what's more important? Having hair that I don't give a fuck about, or it would make her happy. And maybe I would change it because then it'd be worth it. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. People that take offense so easily because they just think, wait a minute, am I entitled to be mad at somebody? Is somebody doing me wrong? What's going on here? Somebody's fucking me over. And they're just so ready because, as I said, entitlement. Entitlement makes people feel like it's their right. Damn, fuck yeah, I'm going to honk at you and stare at you and give you the bird. I think that you came too close to my car when our lanes merged. I have that right. And you have to sit there and take it. It's something really stupid. But entitlement is a lot of what pisses us off. I got to admit myself, when I'm driving, if there's like somebody in front of me and they're going too slow, and I feel like, hey, they're infringing upon my freedom to go faster than they're going. So I want to go around them. Fuck this guy. Somebody was at a green light, just parked there, and I didn't even bother to look at them to see if they were okay. They could have had a heart attack the other day. Looking at it afterwards, I was like, maybe I should have looked at them, but I normally don't. I normally don't look at people. I'm used to trying to not draw attention to me and just being in my own world. But I came to a four-way stop. It wasn't a light. And the person was just not moving. And I didn't even wait. I just went up, didn't even stop. I rolled right around them, looked left and right, and went around them, made a right in front of them. I looked in the rearview mirror and they were still there. I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I was like, I definitely felt entitled to be able to do that. It's my Fourth Amendment, the right of free passage. What are you doing? You know, if you're parked there, don't be mad at me for going around you. That's all I know. Sometimes I think people give too much of a fuck in an area that, you know, everyone's got their own values. I think people care too much a lot of times what other people think. And we know it's true. We all know it's true. And sometimes it's us. Sometimes we care too much. And then we realize sometimes if we really don't give a fuck, sometimes it's so much easier and you relieve like so much stress. And that's something. I saw a documentary on YouTube, and it was about concussions. So I watched it, concussions in wrestling, and it had a bunch of clips of Headstrong, which I thought, well, that's cool. I made that movie, so that's awesome that I'm able to be used in what could be passed off as literature or educational video. They played a lot of parts of it. When they get to the end and it showed my brain scan, they changed the results. So instead of hearing that I have no abnormalities or any signs of anything unusual, and I have a perfect, healthy looking brain, instead of that, they say, RVD learned from his images, he has cerebral atrophy, which unfortunately is common among him and his peers. Like, so it's like, I give a fuck enough to tell you that because I feel like, you know, there's enough sad stories there. But what about the truth? You know, like every wrestler thinks they have CTE and they don't, but they don't even know. These are just the wrestlers that haven't bothered to actually research it. You know, they have some long-term concussion symptoms. That's not the same thing as the degenerative trauma that's happening with the CTE that's wasting away. It's not the same thing. And it's easy to tell the story that, well, wrestlers, boxers, athletes like this, they get in the head. There's no happy ending. There's no good outcome from it. I feel like that's their agenda, and I think that that's wrong. So I give a fuck enough to say that I stand here, just like with many things, serving as an example of the opposite of what is passed off as the common accepted fact. When it comes to this, when it comes to that, I'm an individual. You're an individual. We all react differently. And the fact is, I have had a lot of concussions. I got diagnosed, and I went through vision therapy. The vision therapy brought my vision back to where I passed tests as normal. The images showed that I didn't have any permanent or unusual. There was different images. I got the MRI early on. And then again, like after all the treatment. Either way, I would like to serve as an example of someone that lives by their own rules and does all right with it. What do you want to look at me? What perspective do you want to look at me as? You know, you want to look at my love life. You want to look at my career. You want to look at how cool I am. You want to look at my standard of living, my house, my lifestyle, my traveling. You want to look at the love that I get from around the world. There's so many ways that I hope my legacy contributes towards, so that people can feel like you don't have to live a cookie cutter life and you don't have to accept other people's values that aren't yours. You know, here's one I recommend. You got to really think about if it's worth giving a fuck or not. You only have so many fucks, just like Mark Manson will tell you. And man, if you give a fuck about every little thing, you're going to have a very stressed out life. If you hold those fucks for when it's something like real important and you feel like it's worth giving a fuck about, boom, Well, now it's going to mean something if that's not something you normally do. And you know what? You have a better life the less fucks you give, and anybody will tell you that. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it with that. I wrote some notes that, you know. Here's one way to tell if you care too much about what other people think. And people do this. It's a stage of development, and you got to come up from that. Some people think that they're doing life by their own terms, that, you know, fuck everybody else, but then they're still seeking validation by even the conversation. They're like, you know what, I don't listen to everybody else, and I do what I want. Me and my girl, we do our OnlyFans. We make enough money to where, you know, we got this house, we each got a car, we got this and that, we're doing good, right? What you're doing is seeking validation for me to prove that you're not seeking validation from anybody.
Yeah.
It's a stage of development. When you get there to a point where you're really in touch with your own values, and they don't change unless they're just growing and getting better, and you know you more, then as long as you can identify your own standards and you feel like great that you're a good role model for your own standards, then boom, you're winning. That's a W. Fuck everyone else.
That's it. Don't give a fuck. That's it. Had a couple of super chats chime in about that. Maddie says, does it look like I give a fuck? Kevin Bloody Wilson is a gold Aussie song, so we'll have to look that one up. Does it look like I give a fuck? He says when he's driving, his mate, when he lives in Sydney, he weighs when he gets the finger by people.
Yeah, that's a good reaction.
Good way to
that is a great reaction. And overall, when you feel yourself like getting mad or whatever, it's great if you can recognize that and then stop it with something like that.
Something goofy, just doing something goofy.
Yeah, if you see yourself getting mad, because sometimes we get mad at the stupidest things. Like, because my dad was a type A personality, he would fly off, you know, like he would get mad, and I'm like, so not like that. But I feel like that try to take over my brain. And I'm like, get out of there. Yeah. And sometimes it's so stupid. Like, I'll get in the car, and since I wasn't the last one to drive it, the seat's not adjusted for me. Big surprise, right? But it's like, God damn it, gotta change the mirror. Fuck, you know. But it only lasts a second. Like instantly, as soon as those thoughts start to develop, it's like, dude, shut up. It makes sense that you weren't the last one to drive it. So what?
So what? No big
deal. It's great if you can recognize that. I like the wave. I saw somebody on a video somewhere where like somebody was like, hey. Because what are you doing, man? You've been, you know, you cut me off. I was trying to get over. And he said, oh, yeah, well, I don't like you. You're a smelly, bad person, and you're not invited to my birthday party. And he just tried to make him like laugh. And I was like, I appreciate the effort.
You got it down.
Yeah.
Steve Soleil chimed in too with I would love to have RVD versus young Scott Steiner, two Michigan guys. Any Scott Steiner story. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I would like that too.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, much respect for the fellow Michigander. Him and his brother have always been super cool to me.
Pretty easy dudes, it seems like now, at least.
But I have wrestled Scott Steiner quite a lot, you know, in TNA, in WWE. So, you know, that has, in case you're unaware, like we have had quite a few matches.
Yeah.
And even Indy, I remember I wrestled him at the ballpark. That Brian Knobs had that big show in Queens, whatever the Allstate, whatever that ballpark is.
City Field?
Yeah, thank you, City Field. That's what I said. I wrestled Scott Steiner at that, and there was a run-in from Goldberg.
Oh, I remember seeing clips of that then. Yeah. That's right.
Who ran in to save me? Must have been a baby face to come in and save me. Or no, Goldberg was I don't know what happened. That's YouTube, Chris.
Speared somebody, I'm sure.
Put it on YouTube, Chris. We'll give him some homework.
Help us out. And then Steve Soleil will close out this. I remember when you had a confrontation with Mike Awesome in 2000 and thought you was going to get the title from him, but then you got the knee injury. Yeah, we talked about that before on previous episodes.
But I don't remember the confrontation, though.
Yeah, I don't remember the confrontation either, but I do remember, like, hey, you building up to that, and then the injury happened. And then Mike left for WCW, I think it was at that point. Is that right?
Oh, wait, well, I'm trying to, I guess it must be the ankle injury, because that's when my TV championship ended. And yeah, I don't remember the confrontation though, but I think it should have. It's cool to have teased it, but I would have liked to have done it much later if we were continuing to grow at the pace that we were back then.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, that's another one of the top matches to have. It would definitely be that. So cool.
RVD versus anybody, you know, it's going to be a kick-ass.
You're gonna get a money match either. So guys, this was a money episode. Wow, you guys got your full here. Went 2.5 hours. We have over 250 or 2,500 tuned in. So thanks for everybody tuning in. You can see Rob at WrestleCon, but before that, you can see him at the comedy show at Roastamania 2 coming up here in Vegas. So be sure to take a look. Rob will update the site for it and take a gander. And then SummerSlam weekend coming up. So in Cleveland rocks, Drew Carey stuff. Cool, guys. Well, this was a fun one, Rob.
And we will do a show before the Cleveland show on the 2nd and 3rd, right?
Yeah, we'll do one. So I'll leave for Cleveland on Thursday, but we can try to game plan and think of something we can do.
Same, because I'm signing Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so cool. We'll work something out then for sure. But guys, this is a fun one.
We gotta do it Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Whatever.
We'll make it work.
Thank you, dude. Thanks, Van Dam fam, as always.
Yeah, thanks guys for
next
tuning in.
week.
We'll see you next time here.
Be good to yourselves.
Yes, that's right. Don't give a fuck.